about being here. I think Kim's already alluded. A lot of us are used to being here in January. I run, I walk, I ride my bike, and every day I try to get by here. I thank you for being here today because this is such a special place. I come and I look at Martin because I just need to see his face. Because it still keeps us going. And one of the things that he taught us, and people have talked about already today, he taught us to stand our ground. His life was about standing our ground for what's good, for what's right, for equality, to stand our ground for justice, to stand our ground for peace. And that's why we are here. We are claiming our ground in this country. Right? We're standing our ground. There's so much that's been going on that's so discouraging. When the Supreme Court overturned the Voting Rights Act, the Chief Justice said it was because we are a different country now than we were 50 years ago. Well, excuse me. And truthfully, we are different in some ways, and that's part of the problem because there are people who don't like it being any different. They want this country to be the same it was back in the 1950s and the early 60s. They've never gotten over Jim Crow laws being overturned. They've never gotten over segregation being outlawed. They've never gotten over the fact that black folk are allowed to vote and hold office, sit in the same classroom, and live in the same neighborhood. And they have not gone away gently. They're still fighting, but they're doing it in a much different way. They have found new ways to maintain segregation in Jim Crow, new ways to restrict voting rights, new ways to roll back affirmative action. And now their stand your ground laws, they've doubled down things, and that's become the 21st century version of lynching. That's what stand your ground laws are about. We don't need to make any mistake about that. But as Booker reminded us, what they have forgotten is ain't nobody going to turn us around. Because we're going to stand our ground. We know what's right. We know that our good, as Dr. King told us, will overcome their evil. Right. And we will continue to work in patient nonviolence until we have won them over. We will keep on until they realize, again, as Dr. King told us, that we're doing this because they need to change. Because it's going to be good for them. That's right. It's going to be good for everybody. In the state of Ohio and 2 other states around the country, we have elected officials who have determined that the best path for their political party is not to offer new ideas and try to win new votes, but to keep people from voting. That's their solution. Right. Just don't let the people who aren't going to vote for us vote. Because they know better than we do what will happen if we channel the frustration, the anger, the sadness, and the energy of this day. And millions of people turned out, not in 2016 to vote for a president, but turned out in 2014 to turn some of these rascals in Ohio.
That's it.
They'll let us vote. They haven't figured out what to do about the presidential elections. But they know in those years in between, they can undo everything that's taken place because those people aren't going to go out and vote. Yeah. They know that. They know that better than we do. So they put up all those obstacles to voting. They think that we won't try to do that. They think we won't stand in those long lines, those long hours. We'll just walk away. We don't do that. They know what their future is. Their future is going to go nowhere. So that's why, the old saying, don't agonize, organize. Right. Yep. What we're here to do today is to take this energy and organize to be done with the legislation that gets passed in the middle of the night, stuff gets tucked into budget bills and other stuff. We're not going to keep letting that happen. And they need to hear it. Those people down in Columbus need to hear it, because it's just not about Florida.
There you go.
As Kim has pointed out, it's about Ohio, it's about Florida, it's about a whole lot of other states. And they're desperate. They're desperate. And don't underestimate what it means for them to fight the fight they're going to fight. And what it means for us to stand our ground in that battle. Of course, Dr. King, Reverend King was a preacher, and he knew this little verse tucked in way at the very end of the Bible. It talks about that new city, and it talks about this river that runs through the new city and this tree that's planted by the river, and it says there are leaves on that tree, and what are those leaves for? For the healing of the nations. This nation is sick.
Right. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right.
This nation needs healing.
Yes.
Right.
And we're healers.
That's right.
We are what this nation brings, because we believe that this country can be better than it is.
There you go.
We believe this country is better than some of our legislators who are waving the flags all the time. We know this country is better than they think it is. We know we are better people than they can imagine that we are. And so we will stand our ground until liberty and justice is done for all. So again, thank you for being here. I've been asked to lead us in a prayer here, and then Malcolm's going to close us out. And I've known Malcolm since he was a little guy in high school. He was a pest. And he still is. Thank you, Malcolm, and Booker, all of you. This is a special place. Let's pray. God, it would be untruthful if we didn't say we were sad this day. We're sad for Trayvon Martin and his family, just simply the grief that they are feeling this day. That young life that could have brought so much to this community, to this country, so easily disposed of. And we're sad for not only Trayvon Martin's family, but the families of so many like him who are experiencing that grief and that loss. But we're also experiencing grief and loss for this country of ours. We have gone the wrong way, God. We are sick and we need you.
Amen.
But God, we know that we have to be agents of your healing. We just can't sit back and let you do it. But we can raise up. We can follow Jesus along that path of right living. We can name your name, and we can stand our ground for what's right, for what's good, what's true, what's fair, because we have had people who have given us that example. Right. We stand in the shadow of one who stood his ground, who showed us that we could live in a different way in this world.